Well, we're nearly here. We're getting ready. Just organising with my brother Sam. Won't be long. Just sorting out the finer detail here. There we go. It's magnificent doing this at home and setting up the studio and doing what we got to do. There we go. Just adding Sam Hanna. Won't be long. Just adding Sam. We won't be long, guys. Of course, we can't kick off without the main act. Here we go. You've got to love this stuff doing it from home. There's a few of you on you at the moment. It's brilliant. Won't be long. Sam's nearly on. Hair and makeup, Sam. There we go. Try again. I'll do that. Stand by. And this is the fun part about no editing. This is live. We're not playing games, no editing, no tricks, no music, no scams, no nothing. Connecting Sam, I can see it. You can see it.
Okay,
Sam.
hello. Yeah, comfortable. Good evening. I had to rotate my phone.
Comfortable. That's okay. Yeah, rotate the phone. That's it. Magnificent. Well, listen, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Raw and real. You know, the reality here is that we could have rescheduled this. We could have done so much more and postponed it. You know, Corona hit. Don't do this, don't do that. You know what? The reality was this needs to be done because there's so much pain out there. There's so much happening. And it was only, for us, Raw and Real in life, it's all about giving. So I wasn't prepared to postpone it. I wanted to give it my all. And we're here. And of course, Sam Hanna, our guest, you know, who is part of our Life Worldwide team and has been a friend and a brother for many, many years. Many ideas for such a long period of time about health, well-being, and so much more, in particular in the mental health space and the great stuff that Sam's doing. So without further, I want to introduce you, Sam, to our community. I want to thank you for being part of it. Thank you for giving us your time. And I've got no doubt we're going to have an incredible next hour. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you so much for the invitation. Appreciate everyone coming on board to share this with us. It's been a long time in the making, and Harry and I have been speaking about this for many years. And it's finally come to fruition. But who would have thought a time like this where, you know, it's probably the most ideal time, really, considering what's going on in our community, and we're getting calls all the time, people reaching out for help, wanting some guidance, wanting some assistance, and you know, so we're here to share our knowledge and reach out and give the support that we feel the community needs. So thank you, Harry, for the opportunity.
No, absolutely, Sam, and well said. You know, of course, we always start this by me saying, you know, I would never interview anyone that I don't respect and I don't love, and someone that I admire and I know could add value to our community. So hence why you're on, hence why the community is going to hear about you. This will be recorded, put up on our YouTube channels. It will be shared 1 million times as per normal, and it is what it is. So, I mean, the key question I always ask everyone is, who's Sam? So who are you, Sam?
Well, if you asked me that a few weeks ago, I suppose the answer would have been a bit different. But you know, I like to see myself as an honest and caring and giving person who's always got time for people, is always prepared to give a hand. I'm always open with the knowledge and grateful for the opportunity to help people change their lives. I seem to bump into people that have lost their way or needing some support or guidance. So I kind of see myself as a life teacher, I suppose. But, the strength training has helped break the barrier down. When people come in to see me for, sort of health transformations or weight loss or strength gains, but they end up with a lot more than that. So, yeah. So I don't know, I'd probably say yeah.
Well, Sam, you know what? The realities are that I was just going to add there, Sam, that, going back 25 years, I actually know you longer than that, but, we talk about, say, the 25 years, you talk about you started your early days at the oldest gym with Tony, as we all did.
Yes.
And a big shout out to Tony at the oldest gym. It's taught you a lot. It gave you the opportunities. And you were lucky enough to train with some incredible human beings, including the late Sonny Smith, who was Australia's greatest ever bodybuilder at the time. And you've done a lot. So you've come from the iron game, you've come from the let's lift heavy things, rough and tough, all this sort of stuff. And then you've gone into this huge transformation. But if you take us into why these things needed to happen, right?
Well, I've always been drawn to lifting weights. I've always been drawn to gyms, and it's always been a big part of my life, and it's helped me through my corporate career, traveling overseas. It's always been a big part of my life, and to be able to share that passion with people has helped me sort of get a lot out of it and give me a sense of purpose in life. But yes, it's funny you mentioned Tony Doherty, because I remember being 14 or 15 years old and walking into his gym for the first time, and that was the first real experience in a real hardcore gym. And it was a start out, and I got a lot of inspiration and a lot of learning, a lot of teachings, because, Tony never gave up, always was optimistic about the future, had big dreams. And I remember seeing a photo of him and Arnold Schwarzenegger on the photo in the gym. And I said, Tony, you met Arnold? And he said, I don't remember word for word what he said, but he said, I pretty much paid for that photograph. But yes, one day I will be working with him, and one day, we'll be doing business together, and one day I'll bring him to Australia. So, fast forward, 20 odd years, and yourself and Tony pulled that off. And that's a massive achievement. But, I was there from the start. I've learned a lot, and I'm just grateful to be able to share these learnings with everyday people.
Yes. Well, you know what, Sam? One of the main things is that you hear it a lot now. So people will come to you for fix me up. I want to be a competitor. I want to look good. I want abs. Everybody wants abs, right? I want to. I think you hear a lot from the males. I want abs, and a lot of the females. I want a good bottom. So you would hear this continuously, and you'll see all the good and bad habits. And then, of course, you transition. So can you explain to the community, obviously, from that end where you were training people, you were getting people ready for competition, and then you found all faults. You found all these faults.
Yes. We talk about this often now, and I'm saying, well, I had to do that to learn about how the body works and what it reacts to. I had to, push people beyond their comfort zones to get them to a certain level of conditioning, sort of body fat wise. And that was like a challenge in itself, but like trying to build a reputation in the industry. So you want your clients and your athletes to win. So if your clients and athletes are winning, you're sought after as a trainer, and that sort of proves your knowledge as a coach or a mentor. So I had a lot of success in the bodybuilding and powerlifting scene. And I noticed that soon after competitions, people would slip back to their old habits, eating bad food, binging on pizzas and burgers and letting themselves go and saying, I'm in the off season, I'm bulking up. And I'm like, man, you're just letting go of all that hard work we did. But I then realized that achieving that physique that they were after, thinking that it was going to bring them happiness, it left them unhappy. So it made me think, well, it's not the wanting of the thing that you're going to get isn't going to give you the happiness that you think it's going to give you. So having that partner, buying that car, getting that new job, buying the new outfit, it gives you temporary pleasure, temporary happiness, but then it's not a lasting change. So I'm putting all this effort in, and I feel like it's going like back to where it was. So it was very frustrating. I'm like, I've got to get to the root cause of this. Like, why are people slipping back into the person they were before they came? So now I've shifted the direction into self-reflection, self-love, self-work. Because if you're not happy today in the space that you're in, nothing outside of you is going to bring you long-lasting change and happiness. So we're trying to identify what's missing, what are you lacking, and you know the common saying is you are a reflection of the world that you live. So if you're around angry, negative people, are you giving out negativity? Do you have an ego problem? So you tend to attract that. And I feel like recently I'm trying to get people to recognize awareness. So like, where are you? Where are you at? How are you feeling? How does this make you feel? And don't react. So people tend to react to things through getting angry or raising their temper because they're being yelled at. There's like the belief systems, the values that come from behind that. And I ask people where, like I had a person the other day say that they don't believe in religion or they don't believe in God or whatever. And I'm like, where did that come from? I respect what you're saying, but who taught you that? So where did that value or that belief come from? So that's something that you've heard other people say, and that's all of a sudden something that you believe. And I learned as well that a great philosopher once said that an illiterate person can't read or write. But in today's day and age, if you're not prepared to unlearn what you've learned and then relearn, you can consider yourself illiterate. So we have access to so much information. You know, open a book, read, do your research, gather your own opinion before vomiting out what someone else taught you 20 years ago. That's no longer valid today. So yeah, I think it's all about finding the happiness within. And I appreciate the question, Harry, because this kind of leads me on to the first topic, which is nutrition and nourishing yourself in the right way. So, you know, people ask me, what should I be eating? And I'm like, pick any diet you want and follow it and it will work. But don't have a burger tonight and then Danny's Burgers tomorrow and then come to me the next day and said, I had a banana. Is that good? I'm like, what have you been having for the last 5 days? You know, so it's like, how do you nourish yourself? So choosing the right foods. You know, there's a lot of information on the internet. You can pick whatever diet you want to follow any app you like, but stick to it. Commit yourself to it and stick to it. And in 14 days, you can transform your health. 14 days, 21 days, 28 days. So I had a client ring me last week and he was in a bit of a bad place. And he said, look, Sam, I've just gone to the doctors. My heart, I'm not feeling the best. He's only in his mid-30s. And I want you to help me. And I'm like, what's the problem? So he's been a smoker for a long time. You know, he snacks on food, gets up early, goes to work. So he's like part of that old school mentality, work hard, you know, don't sleep many hours. You got to hustle, work, grind, smoke cigarettes, miss meals, snack on takeaway food. And I'm like, why are you surprised? So I referred him to the doctor and said, look, go get your bloods done. Because I always say, look, your bloods don't lie. So we can guess, we can check, we can assume certain things, but let's start with your blood work. I'll have a look at where your ranges are at. We can start making some modifications. He said, look, I've just come back from the doctor. I've got my bloods. He said, I want you to take, your cholesterol's quite high. You need to take the medication. He said, he asked for my opinion. I said, look, give me a month. Give me a month and then you can go back and get your bloods done. And then I'm pretty confident that we can make the changes that are necessary to get you back on track. So,
Sam, can I just jump in there?
Yeah.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry to cut you, but you hit something very, very big, and that is medication, right? So it's good to see you hydrating too.
Yeah.
But you hear about medication, and an easy fix, right? Take this pill, the magic pill, off you go, you'll be fine, and etc. etc. I mean, is it? It can't be.
The body heals itself as long as you give the body the necessary tools, depending on the condition that you've got. So there's a checklist of basics or the essentials. So what time are you going to bed? How many hours sleep are you getting? What's your hydration like? How many meals are you getting? Where's the food coming from? So you can do lots of little things. But to go back to the person I was talking about, like I spoke to him a week later and he said It's been 7 days and I haven't smoked a cigarette. Because what I said to him was, cancer just doesn't come in one day. So I'm telling you openly and blankly that in 10 years from now, you'll be rigging me with a different conversation saying, look, I've got cancerous cells. I might have to do chemo, got this or got that. I said, so either we do it now or you can wait 10 years and call me then. So a week later, he was ringing me really happy saying, look, it's been 7 days. I've been smoking for 20 years or whatever it was. I've never gone this long without a cigarette. And I said to him, how long has it been? Truly, how long has it been? And he said, how long does it take to get from Melbourne to Abu Dhabi? He said, that's the longest I've been without a cigarette. So he just smokes flat out. But just to show that, I said, you go back in a month and yeah, but I think like the body heals itself. When you walk around the supermarket, you probably heard this before, Harry, just stick to the outside, the perimeter of the supermarket. Let your eyes sort of guide you. The foods that your body needs will appeal to you. Have fun with it. I've got a lot of clients now. They've used this ISO time to cook. So we've got like a little cooking segment, Sam's Kitchen. They copy the recipes, they're cooking meals, they're sending me photographs. And that's really good because when they were working full time, they didn't have the time to go out and prep the meals themselves. They'd do it for a few days, but then they'd fall off the wagon. But it's really important that you get the right nourishment in. And then when you're nourishing yourself correctly, I feel that your brain functions better. So you can start to make better decisions. And decisions that not only impact yourself, but also impact your family. So you're less likely to react. You haven't got that inflammation going on in your body. You're calm, you're balanced. So I think as a father, and as a parent, as a manager in a business, you can't always react to things when they happen. I feel like you try and maintain a level of balance and just presence and just sort of having that awareness, because a lot of people are stuck in their own world. They've like watched the news, they've heard someone say something, they're angry, they're annoyed with something else, they've got period pain or whatever. And we react to their emotions. So being healthy, it gives you like a buffer. It gives you some time to think, to reflect and say, do I react? Or, this is all part of being healthy, not just in losing weight and choosing the right meals, but being the best person you can. And then when you're feeling good about yourself, you're more likely to go out there and help people. And we get a lot of fulfillment from that. There's a lot of joy that comes from being able to assist. But if you're tired and sick and unhappy, you're not going to go out and help someone. You need help. So for you to be your best out there in the community, and Harry, you do it all the time. You stop the car, you pull over, you get out, you help people, you do your thing. You run every morning, you try your best to look after yourself. You've been active for a long time. But you've got that gift where you have naturally that intuition. But a lot of people don't have that. And if they're not healthy in the body, they can't have that. They can't have access to that gift. So I feel that the healthier you are, the more time you spend alone, the more time you journal, the more time you read, you make better decisions for yourself and your family. And I think this is what it's all about, being a better person in the community, reaching out, giving a hand. Yeah.
Well, Sam, and thank you for the kind words. We do run every day and we do see and help people as best as we can. But you're spot on in about, you can't, I suppose there's an old saying, you can't feed the poor if you're hungry, right? And of course, giving is receiving. We understand all that. And one thing that Life Worldwide prides itself in, and you do this so well, Sam, hence you're part of the team, is we put people back together again. And I want to focus on that because you get a lot of people, Sam, you get people from high-end individuals, as we use the word busters. We say people that are injured, together, cheaters, drug addicts. We get the mix, right? So we get a whole mix of people. So you see this all the time, and you said something earlier about health, how important health is, right? Can you, talk us through? I mean, what's health? So if somebody came to you and said, "Well, I need to get healthy," where do they start, Sam? Where's the starting point? I don't think there's an end, but surely there's a very big start, right?
Yeah, well, I think you start on, it's based on feelings and emotions. So how do you feel? So if you felt good about yourself, you probably wouldn't be in my space. You wouldn't come to me and say, "Sam, I need help." So to get people having a quality life, so I feel there's three areas that you need to focus on. So it's how people think. So their attitude towards food, their attitude towards themselves, their attitude towards life, and then how they behave. So how they act in the community, and overall, like how happy they are, and the sense of fulfillment and joy in their life. So if those three things are out of whack, then I don't think you could say you've got a very good life. So it's funny how, life worldwide, but that's in a nutshell, three of the areas that you kind of look at. But it's a lot of it, like a lot of personal trainers and strength coaches now are moving into the psychology realm, because they're noticing, like me, that, bad food choices, where's that come from? People binge on food, where's that coming from? Is that an emotional thing? Is that like trying to cover up? Is that comfort? So, yeah.
So if somebody came to you and they said, Sam, I need to start, what's the first thing they should do? I mean, what should the community be doing straight away?
Okay.
What's...
Okay, yeah. So first of all, I normally sort of ask the basic I normally ask a client to bring in a few days worth of food that they've been eating. So not only the good things, everything that you've been eating. So this will give me an indication as to why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Then we kind of go into, what's your medical background like? Are you on any medication? Are you suffering from depression? What's your sleep patterns like? How many hours sleep are you averaging? So sleep will help to regulate the hormonal system, will help to heal the body. So we have a lot of stress in our life that comes from many factors, many sources. So they're work-related, phone-related. So every time your phone goes off, that's a stress signal. Meetings, agendas, timetables, emails, commitments, homeschooling, these are all stress factors. So if your sleep's not optimum, then you don't have much luck in reaching optimum health. So really prioritize sleep. So I spend a lot of time talking about, or asking the questions. I try and picture. So we've started this new program before lockdown. We called it home base, or sort of like the stage 3. So we'd come out to the home, we'd check the pantry, we'd check the bedroom, we'd check the living space, and we'd help to remove all the clutter. We'd go through the pantry, take out things that aren't necessary through the fridge, and then set up the bedroom so it's optimum for sleep. So no electronic devices, no lighting, dark room, optimum temperature in a bedroom, sort of 19 degrees, no food 2 hours before bed, and no overhead lighting a couple of hours before bed. So that will help put the body into the right sleep system, sleep patterns. So when you're recovering well and you're sleeping well, your body gets an opportunity to reorganize things and to synchronize things. The brain gets to get a break, get a rest, and then the hormones balance out, and then you can tackle the day with maximum energy and with like the best possible start. From then we move on to, what are your morning rituals like? Do you jump on the internet? Do you watch the news? Do you look at your news feed? So I try and discourage people from doing that. So the holy hour in the morning, the 5 a.m. club that you introduced me to with, I'm still part of that, and it's brought me huge success. I actually start at 4 a.m. now, so I've gone back an hour. Since ISO, I haven't been doing the 4 a.m. start, but up until then, it was a 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m. start. And I try and encourage most of my clients, all my clients, to get up at 5 a.m. And then I'll say, look, break up your hour into 15-minute blocks. So the first 15 minutes could be run, walk, or jog. The next 15 minutes would be meditation. So just like a breathing technique. You can follow apps, you can listen to whoever you want to listen to. And then 15 minutes of reading your favorite book, so hopefully something educational. And then 15 minutes to journal and reflect on the day before and the day ahead. So when you compound that daily, it puts you in a good rhythm. So you set yourself goals and you say, right, today I'm going to aim for 3 liters of water. I'm going to get my calories in. We look at the body weight, and I can give the audience a little tip at home. If you're trying to work out how many calories you should be consuming in a day, just multiply your body weight by 3 and add 2 zeros to the end. So Harry, what's your weight? 75?
76 at the moment. Fighting weight, Sam.
76. So triple that, and then let's say you're 70 kilograms, there's 210. Add a couple of zeros, that's 2,100 calories per day. And then I say for the first few weeks,
that's an amazing tip.
yeah, well, it's not like 100% accurate, but it's a good start. And then you can break it down into proteins, fats, and carbohydrates each meal. So depending on the client that I've got in front of me, if they've dieted before, if depending on how much weight they've got to lose, and how skilled they are in the kitchen, will determine how much carbohydrates I'll give them. What the body fat's like will determine carbohydrates. But as a general rule, the amount of proteins and the amount of fats, which are really important, people underestimate the value of fat. So I'm talking to a broad audience here. So most people, I'm assuming, would understand the value of fats. But it's amazing how when people start dieting, they eliminate fats and salts, which are the key, the essentials to keep in your diet. So a bulk of your calories will come from, maybe even a third of your calories could come from fats, healthy fats, olive oils, walnut oil, avocado oil. So what I was thinking while I was preparing for this presentation was to put a list together for the audience that we could send out. So if anyone requests this information, we can share. We're happy to share this information. But
well, it's 100%, Sam, and we're going to talk about the referrals and make sure that they come and get their health check that they need.
Yeah.
The reality here is as well that at our last lunch and learn that we did, you were one of our special guests. You were one of the speakers.
Yes.
And everybody was, everybody couldn't stop talking about the fact that you put salt in your water, and you don't eat in the morning, and you fast. That's another major process of what you do. So fasting, nutrition, meditation, sleep, health. Excuse me. We're hearing so much of lots of methods that you use.
Yes.
What's your take on? I mean, so I had a question for you before we go into that, because we're going to deep dive into that. But what motivates Sam? What gets Sam Hanna going? What motivates you, Sam? What is it that makes you get up at 4 a.m? I know that I gave you some medicine in the early days and said, look, take this, which was, get up at 5, do this, do that, and listen to this guy. And it may sound all weird to you at the start, but I promise you one thing: it's going to lead to great paths, right? Yeah. So, what motivates Sam? What is it?
Well, I've always, people that have known me, I've always been in and out of gyms, and to have my own gym was like a dream come true for me. So it's a big, it's passion, it's life purpose. There's meaning. I enjoy it. I thrive on it. If I calculated the number of hours I spent working one-on-one with clients, I mean, I could do 12, sometimes 15 clients a day, 15 hours straight back to back. I've done that for many, many years. And if the passion wasn't there, if I was only looking at the dollars, then I don't think I would have lasted this long. So a lot of personal trainers burn out because the appeal at the beginning is about how much they can earn an hour. So I think the least you could earn is like $70 a session, and then all the way up to like $150 to $200 an hour. So people are thinking, wow, if I train 2 or 3 clients a day, that's more than I'd earn working at a construction site. And I get to train, I get to have my meals, I get to this, I get to that. But they quickly realize that it's actually quite demanding. And it's hard on the body, it's hard on the brain if you're not there for passion, if you're there just for the dollars. So it's a real passion of mine, and I love sharing the things that I'm learning, and that's what gets me up every day. Yeah.
Well, your passion is people feel you, Sam, when you speak to them. And one thing that I know, because I've experienced it with you firsthand, you have this ability to, when you said earlier, I've got this intuition, I get it, but you've got this ability to x-ray people. You do the x-ray. I call it the x-ray. You look at me and go, ice cream, and it's guilty. It's like I've had ice cream on my face or something, right? Yeah. And that's come from you caring and you understanding if you see inflammation, if you see something, or somebody makes a funny noise when they get up, or they're not sure, and all this. That's come from experience. So I wanted to share that with you because people know that you're an incredible human, Sam, and people feel when you speak to them, they listen. Yeah. And we know that you can feel people's pain because you're there for much, much more than just health and well-being, right? So, I wanted you to, if you could, Sam, talk about a normal day for a normal person. Not someone that's, not an athlete, not somebody that's, very well skilled and trained and disciplined is probably the right word. what about that that ordinary person? You know, I'm at home. What can they do? You know, to really push forward.
Without coming to see us for help, or you mean just advice
Yeah,
now? So
like
you
this,
broke up when you were
an
asking the
ordinary.
question.
Yes, sorry, Samuel. We have been having a few technical difficulties at this hour because of, you know, I think the whole world's on the internet, and it's probably us breaking the internet. But what can an average mother sitting at home that wants to get up, get going, and do something for herself? What's a great kickstart for her?
Well, we're very lucky in this day and age. There's access to a lot of people online that you can get free videos. I like listening to. People laugh at me the first time I tell them, but I like listening to Esther and Jerry Hicks, Laws of Attraction. I like listening to Louise Hay, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, and I just pick at their videos. And some resonate with some people, some may not. I had one girl laugh at me saying, "Are you serious, Sammy? You want me to listen to this stuff?" I said, "Give it a try, see how you go." A few days later, she's sending me videos. She's on the beach listening to meditation tapes and stuff. I said, "You're doing this?" And I thought it's quite funny because inside us, all of us, we have a connection with where we've come from. So I believe that we all believe in, there's something more than what we're experiencing now in this physical body. I believe in there's something that, that brought us here, and there's somewhere we're going to go after we pass. I'd like to believe in that. And when you hear something that resonates inside you, deep inside you, not something that you've heard from your parents or heard from somewhere else, but when you feel a connection with something, go with it. If it's making you feeling good and you have some belief in it, go with it. So start with that. I've had quite a few friends that I've kind of sent videos and links to, and they've come back later saying, "I really resonated with that. I really got a lot out of it. It makes me helps me to make a lot of sense out of my life." And I said, well, these people have spent a lifetime learning and educating themselves and sharing their knowledge, and have come from a much more difficult life than you would ever dream of. Being raped as a child or abused as a family member, had nothing left on the street, and they've dire circumstances to, having a good quality of life, and they like to share their knowledge with people. So start with that. Find someone that, and we can give you references or links to start you off. But then I'd put energy and time into sourcing the right ingredients for your home. So watch the food that you're putting into your body first. So you don't have to go out and run a marathon, because that's not going to do it for you. So you're looking at what you're actually putting into your body, not just food-wise, but also what you're putting into your brain, who you're listening to, who you're socializing with, what you're watching on the media. So you can easily get sucked into this hype. And I know it's a terrible thing that we're going through, but watching the news isn't going to make you feel any better. And fear and all these emotions that people pick up off the news, it's addictive. Raising the cortisol is addictive. It's like, wow, another drama. Wow, did you hear this? Or wow, did you hear that? And it can become very addictive, and it changes your demeanor. It changes the atmosphere in the home. It puts fear in yourself, and it resonates, and people pick up on it. So I would suggest that, just mind what you're watching. Limit the news to maybe 20 minutes a day. They're changing the laws every 5 minutes, so you need to know, you don't want to be getting fines on the street, but just be mindful of that. And then there's something that we picked up today about happiness. And I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but the number of times that you experience happiness in a day, Harry, and the number of times that I experience happiness in a day are exactly the same. So you get to experience 10 times,
Wow.
I get to experience it 10 times. But some people choose not to dwell on the happiness. Some people say, oh, it's just a brief happy moment. But other people that are more happy, they savor the happy moments. They have expectation. They rehash it. They laugh about it. They relive it. So I was speaking to a client and a friend today, and she kind of brought the analogy up about lifesavers. Remember those lollies? So some will crunch on them and chew them up and swallow them, and others will suck them for a very long time. So that's like happiness. When you have a joyful moment or something that makes you feel happy, slow it down, enjoy it, savor it. And slowly over time, you start to become more of a happy person, because at the end of the day, we're here to enjoy life and be happy. So that's the other thing. So look for opportunities to be happy.
Yes. What would you suggest, Sam, now? I mean, everybody's at home, so to speak. Everybody should be
Yeah.
at home doing the right thing. We get all the media stuff and all the negativity over there. We park all that, and you're so right in saying you are who you have coffee with. If you hang around with,
Yeah.
we always say that you're hanging in the barber shop long enough, you're going to get a haircut, right? Look what happened
Yeah.
to us. So, you know, everybody's at home. The family's at home. What suggestions? What do you think's the greatest way for the family to bond, move forward, use their brains? You know, become a unit, because we're not always
Yeah.
together, and now we're all stepping in on the toes. And you said earlier, it's great to spend time alone.
Yeah. I heard most of it, but I think the last quarter cut out. But I understand the question. But I remember something that a mutual friend of ours, Harry, mentioned, Dr. James Rouse, that you have a family box at home. So there's certain times, I've done this with quite a few clients, and it works. So when I get a client coming in from a dysfunctional family or having some dramas at home, I'm like, what do you guys do at night? And she's like, I've come here to lose weight. I'm like, yeah, I understand, but you got a lot of unhappiness in your life. What's the go at home? Do you spend much time with your partner? Do you do this? Do you do that? Whatever. Because if you're happy in your relationship, you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel good about yourself and all this stuff. So I suggest a family box to most families. So you have a box where after a certain time, all of the devices go in that box. Your laptops, your iPads, your phones, any distractions go in there. And then it's time to bond as a family. So you could play like Scrabble, or you could cook a meal together. Homeschooling now is a great opportunity to teach your kids. So it's like we can't rely on the school system to teach our children manners, to teach our children how to behave around people and stuff. But now this is your opportunity to have a look at yourself, have a look at your cultural traditions and customs, and see if you can pass them on to your children, because these opportunities may not come again. So I'm not sure, like people that know me well know that I haven't seen my son in like 7 or 8 months. And these are the sorts of things that, I would love and like give anything to have that opportunity with him. But so people are complaining about being homeschooled and, the teachers aren't doing this and this isn't happening. I'm like, mate, like it could be much worse. So show gratitude for what you've got. A lot of people have more than, they think they have. So it's time to stop and as a family come together and say, look, we've achieved a lot. This is a time for us to enjoy these times together, because they may not be around for too much longer. And then when you're back at work, and a very close friend of mine today mentioned that, he goes, mark my words. His name's Dr. Daniel. He said that people will be complaining when they go back to work. They're going to wish that they were still in lockdown. So yes. Use this time to bond with your family, to read a story to your kids. These are moments that they won't forget. And I wish I had more of those moments with my dad and my mum growing up, and my family too. So yeah.
Yes. Well, on that, we've got a complete left field question I had here, and that is that a lot of people ask me this question, and one of it was, what's the worst food you can eat, and what's the best food you can eat? The worst, and I hope you're not going to say what I think you're going to say, but I hope, and of course, what's the best food?
Okay. The worst food, fun.
And maybe, sorry, Sam, maybe break it up, like say these couple of food groups are no good, and maybe these food groups.
No, without a shadow of a doubt, I think donuts are the worst food you could eat. Donuts, Fonda. Thanks for the messages, but worst possible food.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
And I feel that the best foods are seafood.
Right.
Yeah. So lots of minerals. I mean, you've heard the saying, Harry, you are what you eats. It's no longer what you are what you eat, because of the farming process, the pesticides, the crops, the rotation, all that stuff. But the ocean still in itself, especially now with the Mother Earth getting a break that it well needs. They're saying that the number of fish in the ocean has increased, the populations are growing back, and there's an abundance of seafood. So if you can get access to wild fish, that would be my go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good feedback, Sam, because that's what Dr. James Rouse shared with us when we had dinner with him. And those fantastic, and so you carry on. Now, let's talk about, again, the ordinary person. I hope you can hear the question, Sam. The ordinary person just wanting to start again, has been lazy, he's been sitting on the couch, he's rusty, the joints are hurting, all of the above. What's the best way to start? Where do they kick off? What's the best thing for them to do as a start?
Harry, I had a glitch in the... I'll just wait for the glitch to pass.
Yeah, I heard that. I'll say that again, Sam, and I'll keep it short. Somebody's sitting at home, they've been on the couch potato, whatever you want to call them, and they want to kick up the bum and they want to go now. They want to go. They want to have a go. What's the best start? What's the best start for them?
Okay, just 1 second, Harry. Can you hear that?
Yes, got you. Okay. So what if somebody wanted to start, what's their best start? They've been sitting on the couch, Sam, all this time?
Yeah. The best start would be get professional help. If you can reach out for some professional help, because every case is different, but you got to look at the carbohydrates. I'm getting this repeat on the audio. Can you hear it, Harry?
Yeah, we got you, Sam. That's okay. Beautiful. Technical difficulties.
It's like catching up.
Live. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Got a bit of a delay,
Okay. Is this good now?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Coming on? That's all right. We got you now. I can hear you, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first thing is to cut out all of the foods that are causing inflammation in the system. So depending on the individual,
yes,
we look at sort of the sugary things, the cereals, excess carbohydrates, potatoes, rice. And it's still going on, Harry. It's still getting glitch.
We got you covered, mate. We can hear you. You just keep talking.
I can still hear it in here.
Yeah, I can hear it too. That's okay.
So if a client's got a reaction to some foods, and we normally eliminate them. So we normally start with like dairy. So what's the dairy consumption like? And normally milk, people have a reaction to milk, so it causes allergies. So we sort of cut out dairy. We then look at the carbohydrates that they're consuming. So normally, typically, I cut out all fruit and carbohydrates, and then basically give them enough protein to support the body mass and enough of the fats to help keep them functioning, because there's a lot of energy in fat. So in 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. So there's a massive amount of calories with the fat consumption. So it's a small volume of food, but it gives you a hell of a lot of energy and sustainable energy. So you don't crash, you don't spike your insulin, you don't raise cortisol. So the whole aim there is to try and lower the cortisol in the system as much as possible. So one of the ways is through food, and the other way is how to manage stress. So I like to practice breathing techniques with clients. So deep breathing, inhale, exhale, especially as they're exercising. So with each breath, you do a rep. And the repetitions are normally like a 5-second tempo. So it takes about 4 or 5 seconds to complete the repetition. And that whole time breathing. So if a set is like 10 to 15 reps, there's about a minute worth of breathing that's done with each set. So by the end of the hour, a client's taking in so much oxygen, and oxygen helps with the detoxification process. So the more oxygen you get into the body, the faster you can transform the client, and the better they can feel. So if you're going out for a walk, or you're stretching, or you're doing a yoga thing at home, or you're doing some home workouts, just remember the importance of the breath. Because without breath, without air, there's no life. So we focus on the breathing. So if you think of priorities, if you were to cut out oxygen, you wouldn't be alive much longer than 3 to 4 minutes. Without water, there's 7 to 10 days. Without food, some humans, some healthy humans can last up to 80 days without eating. Most humans can last 40 days without eating. So the need for breakfast, the need for lunch, you talked about intermittent fasting or fasting earlier. So if you're really unhealthy, you don't want to immediately jump into a fast, but you could slowly, gradually work yourself up into it. And I find that a lot of the clients that have a lot of inflammation, they thrive on fasting. They love it because they're not worried about food and they've got an abundance of energy. But it takes a while to get the body turned over from using glycogen as fuel into fat for fuel. So it's got to be closely monitored. I mean, a lot of people just yo-yo in and out of fasting. That's very, like, I don't agree with that method. But there's like some people say, you know, and I believe this, that there's got to be balance. There must be balance. So if there's too much rain, there's a disaster. If you sit in the sun for too long, you're going to get burnt. So the sun's good, but not too much sun. Rain is good, but we don't want too much rain. The same as exercise. You don't want to go doing 6 hours a day. So you've got to find the balance, the happy medium in all areas. And so think of that, like 3 minutes without breathing. So breath is the most important thing. Breathe as much as you can. Take in the air, open up your lungs, help your body. And then the next step is making sure you're drinking enough water, because without, you know, dead. So making sure you get a good water supply. So for most men, 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Most women, 2 liters of water a day. Some people don't even drink 500 ml a day. So give your body what it needs. And then where's your water coming from? So a lot of people, you know, thinking, well, you know, I should get a filter for the tap. Yes, you can get filtration system for the home. You can get it for the tap in the sink. You can get it for the shower. You can get a whole home filtration system. But, you know, filter your water if you can, because there's a lot of chemicals and nasties in there too that you want to try and avoid. And then when you eat, just be mindful that you can go 40 days without eating. And Harry, I know you fast for religious reasons and you follow the calendar on occasions. That's massive benefits to the body and the spirit. It's not only for you're depriving yourself of food for religious reasons, but also as a healthy race. You know, the communities of people that fast don't have many issues with regeneration. Don't have many cases of IVF. So it's like, why do some people have to go through, like most people now waiting later on in life to have children? So yes, I understand that. But there's a lot of cultures that don't need IVF because they fast religiously and their systems are clean. And a healthy body can reproduce life. If you're not healthy and you've passed the age barrier, it's very hard, you know, in most cases to conceive. So that's an indication, like the Mother Nature's protecting people, saying you're not healthy enough to have a child. So like, get your water consumption up, watch what you're eating, making sure that the food's coming from the right sources, and appreciate your food. Give gratitude and thanks to where that food is coming from, because that's nourishing your body. So I feel prayer sometimes at the dinner table will be helpful for the family. You're teaching the children. You know, they say, I'm not sure if the audience here has heard of Caroline Mace, but she says, use the words divine at home. Use the words holy. Use the word grace. Use the word sacred. Because children understand the meaning of those words, even if they've never picked up or never heard biblical terms or religious terms, they have a connection with those words. So, yeah.
Well, we've got some. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that's fantastic. So we're gonna get a ton of questions.
Yeah.
A ton of
Okay.
questions. And I think what's important, I've just got my. So before I go into this, I just want to ask you this quick question, Sam, about detox.
Okay. Do you want me to answer?
And it's not a question, it's a statement. I'm asking you, detox. I don't need to tell you anything about it.
Okay, thank you. So I can see you when you're about to talk, so I'll just leave these off because I'm hearing the other one from before. A lot of people saying, oh, you know, I need to come in and see you for a detox. And I'm like, okay. So like we discussed earlier, making sure the water supply is high, you're doing intermittent fasting, you're doing the meditations, you're working on the breath work, you're stretching. So yoga is very good for helping to detox. So you open up the pathways of detoxification. You're opening up the lymph nodes. You're giving the liver, the kidney a massage. You're giving the heart, stretching out the heart. So there's a lot of benefits to doing that sort of training. But you got to include foods that encourage the body to release the toxins safely. So things like multivitamins, but I'm not talking like ones that you buy from the supermarket. You'd have to get like pharmaceutical grade or go through a practitioner of some of the reputable brands, because there's a lot of fillers and additives that are put into products, and if you don't know what you're buying, you actually could be doing more harm than good. But as part of the detox process, you want to use like a high dose fish oil. A good quality fish oil will help detox the body, and you combine that normally with an amino acid called acetyl-L-carnitine, which gets into the cells. The fish oil helps regenerate the brain and regenerate the cells. Then you'd look at, overlook this, but it's like, what's the digestive system working like? So how many of these nutrients, of these foods, is your body actually absorbing? With the stress of modern day life, a lot of people have digestive problems. You need to supplement with something that will help you digest, break down the food, and absorb the food to help your body get stronger. So with stress causes issues with the gut, because it raises cortisol in the system. It thins the lining of the digestive system, and not many nutrients can pass through into the bloodstream. So you might be eating really high quality foods because you've changed your diet, but you're not receiving many of the benefits. So to help your body get strong, you must include a really good multivitamin with all your meals, not just once a day. And then get your bloods done. Check where your vitamin D levels are at. Are they within range? Check your magnesium, check your zinc. These are all really important. Harry, you know the magnesium story. And then once you get that information, you can dose accordingly, because there's recommended ranges for a healthy person. So you're like, where am I at? How much do I need to dose, and for how long? Now, there's a big hype at the moment about vitamin D and the benefits it has on the immune system. Now, you can go out in the sun and you will get good exposure to vitamin D, but I always recommend to people go out in the morning and look into the sun. A lot more benefit from doing that than having your skin exposed. Actually look into the sun. And in the morning, there's no damage done to the eyes, and the absorption rate of vitamin D is a lot greater. And also helps set your sleep rhythm. So first thing in the morning, turn on all the lights. So signal to the brain that there's light. Harry, you've taken a lot of flights on the plane, and you'll notice that even if it's daytime and you're flying to a destination where it's nighttime, they close the curtains and they put the floor lighting on. That signifies sleep. You're going to a destination that's nighttime. And you'll see within a short time, people fall asleep, even though it's day. So you could do the same thing at home. Floor lighting at night, turn off the overhead lights, turn off the TV. Don't send light signals to the brain. First thing in the morning, out in the sun. Look into the sun, appreciate the sun, look at the air, look at the trees, look at the grass, take your shoes and socks off, walk in the grass. This is all great therapy. Connect with Mother Nature. People are saying it more and more these days, but I believe don't diss it until you've tried it. I had a laugh about this earlier because I thought of a few people that are going to hear this and I start laughing, but don't diss it until you try it. A friend of mine has spent a lot of money on his health, and he said that we're talking like tens of thousands of dollars. And he said that by going down to the beach, and he lives near the beach, taking his shoes and socks off and walking in the sand and walking in the water is worth more than any therapy treatment that he's spent $1 on. So get out in nature. That's part of detoxing as well, not just what you're eating and what's coming out of your body, but it's what you're putting in, like from the environment. So there's a lot of benefits there. Yeah.
That's good. Oh, that was fantastic, Sam. That was absolutely fantastic. Now, one of the key things that keeps coming up, we've got a million questions, but menopause, hormones,
Okay.
What's your view on it?
We spoke about this. We did an article on it. If you go to the Instagram page, we wrote an article on PMS. And normally, women will do well on fish oil and a high dose magnesium. And then when you're choosing your magnesium, just making sure that the type of magnesium that's in there, the last three letters end in ATE. So you know that they're the right one to absorb into the system. But if you go on the Instagram page, there's lots and lots of information there to answer that question.
Fantastic. We've got a question here from our good friends up in the country, Bell and Bruce. Now, Sam, can you give us some tips for motivation, emotionally and physically, through this COVID?
Tips. Tips. Yeah, I think get out in nature. Try not to watch too much of the news. Use this time to learn to meditate if you're not meditating, so go within. A lot of the solutions come to problems when you're in solitude, so too many people look for other people outside of themselves for advice and guidance and stuff, but most of the time we all have the answers within. But it's just having that courage to sit on your own, reflect on your life. I say to people now, like, if you wake up in the morning and you say, life is my best friend, it's funny. But at the end of the day, like, who knows, like, you got to try and be your own best friend and learn about yourself and what makes your heart tick, you know, what inspires you, what makes you feel good. You know, a lot of times people do things to please other people, and at the end of the day, it's never enough. So work on yourself, read things that you enjoy, do things that make you happy, appreciate the good things that you've got in your life. But you just have to walk through the hospitals to see what state some of the children are in, and you know, we really are blessed to be able to move and walk and do the things that we're doing without even appreciating them. So, yeah.
So we've got a question from Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Good to have you on, Ken. So that's Ken Saragotis. Ken, his question is your thoughts on the use of apple cider vinegar and your thoughts on caffeine intake.
Okay.
Cider vinegar and caffeine.
Thanks, Ken. With regards to caffeine, I think a lot of people overdo it. So it is a drug. If you're looking at it from a point of sports performance, yes, it has its place. I like to have a coffee a day. I enjoy it. I enjoy the fragrance. I enjoy the taste of it. I enjoy the feeling it gives me. But you got to be careful not to overdo it. It spikes cortisol. It can play around with your adrenals. So don't overdo the caffeine. And with apple cider vinegar, it's great. Like I said before, everything in moderation. I wouldn't overdo the amount of apple cider vinegar you're having. I'm not sure what the research suggests in terms of like dosages, but I think a lot of people have great results doing like a tablespoon in a glass of water daily. With I like to use Celtic sea salt and cayenne pepper with lemon and apple cider vinegar. So a lot of benefits there. People with gout say that the apple cider vinegar helps with the pain there and inflammation in the joints. And some healthy people like to use it for alkalizing the system. So there's a lot of great benefits, but again, in moderation. You know, I wouldn't overdo. I wouldn't open a bottle of apple cider vinegar and start drinking and saying this is good for me, because it could destroy your gut lining. So just a little bit at a time is fine. Yeah.
Okay, which leads into a good question here from Shayla. Sam, what's your view on OMAD, 1 ml a day?
OMAD. Again, like all supplements and stuff are great, but you got to look. I think always go get your bloods if you can. I mean, I know it's tough in these days, but get your bloods done, see where you're at, and then it's like look at your diet first, look at your health markers, and then supplement accordingly. So, you know, there is a place for different types of supplementations. I've never experimented with that one in particular. I like to do the basics first, and then, like in my experience, most of the problems are alleviated. And then if the major issues aren't gone, then it's time to see a specialist. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I didn't do like medicine, but it's like I know it works. And sometimes there are things that can't be resolved through supplementation and food alone, and you might need some medical support. So depending on your medical condition, yeah, I don't know if I could answer that one. But if you want to get in contact with me directly, I'm more than happy to help or lead you in the right direction if there's a particular health concern that you've got.
So I'll ask you this, Sam. I'll ask you this question. What do you think of 1 ml a day? having just 1 meal a day, that's it?
What was the question, Harry?
Just what's your view on having 1 meal a day? Just 1 meal, that's it.
I've done that before. I've trialed it myself, but I feel that after time, unless you're really, really conscious of what you're putting into your body and you're getting the right amount of nutrients into your system, you start to tire and fatigue. So long term, especially for strength training, I'm not really a big fan of it, but I've trialed it for many months, and I find that you can do it for a small period of time, but then I think like adding in a meal or two when you feel hungry is beneficial. But to sustain it for long term, I don't personally believe there's. If you're into strength training like I am, I wouldn't do it for that long. But if you live a relatively like a not very active life, and you feel that you're doing well on it, then you can stay on it. But for me personally, 1 meal a day I feel is too much stress on the body for a long period of time.
Cool. What about Sam? Okay, we've got a great question here from Tony Zekas, Australian Money Mentor.
Oh, Tony.
Have you on?
Hello, Tony.
Good old TZ. Yes. So the question is the percentage of fat in the keto diet. Is it dangerous?
Harry, you glitched for that question. Sorry.
So the question, the percentage of fat in the keto diet, is it dangerous?
Very good question, Tony. It depends on how people look at the ketogenic diet. I did it cleanly. I didn't load up on heaps of bacon and lard and all that sort of stuff. So provided that your fats come from a healthy source, so your fish oils, your olive oils, macadamia oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, your MCTs, I don't feel that there's much risk involved. But some people say, I'm going keto, and they have heaps of bacon and a lot of saturated fats. That's not a healthy approach. So if you follow a ketogenic diet with whole foods in mind, most people thrive on it. But again, I don't know many people that have done it for a long, long time. I did it myself for maybe 6 months on and off, and I got lots of benefits out of it. But now I've kind of incorporated some carbohydrates in my diet, and I feel like coming in and out of keto is great for the brain and great for longevity and lifespan. But again, it's like, where's your food coming from and what's the quality of the fat that you're consuming? So there's nothing wrong with a high amount of fats as long as the quality is good.
Good answer. Sam, we've got a separate question here. So from Colin McDonough, one of the greatest truck drivers out there, mate.
Hello, Colin.
The TCB. It's got the best looking truck you've ever seen, Sam, let me tell you. And in fact, Colin's my brother-in-law. So
Colin. How you doing?
Yeah, good on Colin. So the question he's got there, how do you stop shin splints? He's suffering shin splints, mate. He's out there training and he's got these pains.
Yes. Most physios will be able to help you with that. It could be, I don't know, is he running, Harry? Is he a runner?
I think he just started running.
Yeah.
He's just started running and doing bits and pieces. Yeah.
So the common mistake people make, and especially as we get older, is we go straight back into running. But if you remember when we were children, we'd be running all the time. So if you went to go for a jog, you would have no side effect. You would have no shin splints. You would have no aches and pains. But I feel that if you haven't run in a long time and you're sort of over 30 years old, I would start with fast walking first. So what that does is, like, I use a technique with clients when they first come in, is like they're quick and eager, they want to get into running, and I'm like, you're not ready for running. So I challenge them with a fast walk for 7.5 minutes. So I say, leave your house and walk as fast as possible for 7.5 minutes and measure your distance. And then once that 7.5 minutes is up, you turn around and you have to walk back home in 7.5 minutes. You can't run, you have to walk. So what that does is it primes the body for running. So it opens up the hips, it opens up the knees, it gets the tendons and ligaments primed for running. So the impact of running is too great on the system for someone who hasn't run in a long time, and especially if you're unhealthy, the muscles will start to jam up. So by doing the fast walking for 1 month, so you do 3 of those walks a week for a month, and then you're ready for running, and you shouldn't suffer those things. So Colin, I would recommend seeing a physio first, cleaning up your diet, doing the fast walks, and then gradually step up into a run.
Good answer. Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
So we've got a message here from our friend Kelly. How are you, Kelly? Good to have
Kelly.
you on. Sam, can you please talk us through the concept of presence, for being present? It's a fantastic question.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for that question. I've been doing a bit of work on, I've been reading a book by Eckhart Tolle, and it's called A New Earth. And he talks a lot about presence and about the ego. So a lot of people react in anger or frustration because they feel like their ego has been damaged. But when you practice presence, so if you think of a timeline, so to your left, you've got the past, to your right, you've got the future. That's a timeline. That's where the ego lives, in the past or in the future, but not in the now. And then you've got the vertical realm, which is, if you look up, you've got spirit and yourself. So when you think of like that cross across your chest is past and present, and then the vertical line through your head and your body. So you're focusing on your heart center. You're focusing on your heart center, and you're practicing breath and present awareness. So you just keep coming back to the breath. So you follow the breath in and you follow the breath out, and you don't think about the future and you don't think about the past. So that gives you a lot of space, and it helps you make better decisions. It helps you from reacting to someone else's anger, and it kind of gives you what they call it consciousness. So someone who's unconscious will react in anger, who will react in violence, or react in an inappropriate way. And someone who's conscious realizes that and doesn't react, so they're more present. So it's practicing that being in the moment is what I believe presence is. It's like here and now. So a lot of people have like a tiger living in the room. They're always afraid of something, but there's actually no tiger exists in there. But it may as well, because of the amount of fear and anxiety that they carry around with them. So when you're present, you realize that a lot of these things aren't actually there. So it's a form of meditation.
That's fantastic. Now, Nick Diamond, we've got to love him. It's a serious question.
Nick Diamond. Yes.
And the question is your view on ice cream, but on a serious note.
Ice cream, amazing. Oh, I love ice cream. My favorite. Kenny's ice cream, Woodend. Yeah. Mansfield, crazy. Harry, come on. You know, ice cream's one of my favorite cheats. But of recent times, I've cut back on the consumption of ice cream. But I feel that, you know, we have to indulge in things that make us feel good and we get pleasure out of it. And ice cream is one of those things that, you know, I'm happy to have shared many with you and Nick, the Corruptor, different flavors. But yeah, I think everything in moderation again. You know, we only live once, and, you know, enjoy the moments with your family, celebrations when we're allowed to be around one another again. And, you know, if you take pleasure in it and it makes you feel good, go for it. But again, it's like, you know, people say the 80-20 rule. I say yes, the 80-20 rule once you've achieved your goal. You know, 80% of the time you're good, 20% you're a bit loose, but, you know, earn it. Earn it. Like a lot of the clients that we have now, we say like every 5th or 6th day, have a meal of your choice. If it's, you know, pancakes and ice cream, go for it. If it's a box of cereal, have it. But like you got to earn it, and you got to be lean enough. And when you're lean, your body can process it really well, and you enjoy it. So it's part of something to look forward to. It keeps people on their diet. You know, too long on a diet, people sort of like, you know, they just binge the opposite way and just completely lose track. So having some rewards along the way, it's great. Something to look forward to and something to appreciate. And I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, ice cream, big tick for me.
That's fantastic, Sam. That's Music to my ears, Sam. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
So this is another great. There was two questions there. A great question from Bell again. Our good friends Christine and Bruce up at Mansfield doing it tough up there, magnificent. But the question was, from a female point of view, how do you stay motivated to stay fit each day when you don't have the motivation of your gym and your friends around you?
Well, like, it's part of that, what makes us healthy, and it's like healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. So it's like if you schedule it in and it becomes, Harry, it takes 66 days to create a new habit, right? So you want to reach a point of automaticity. You have to commit yourself. If it's something that's important to you and you don't do it for a long enough period of time, it will not become a habit. So you want to, like Harry, you get up and you run every morning, but it was harder to start, messy in the middle, glorious at the end. If you want the glory, you've got to go through those 60 days, like, brushing your teeth, tying your shoelaces, doing all those things. And it doesn't become a question of being motivated. It becomes automatic. It becomes part of your life. And if you don't do it, you kind of miss it. So stick to a program, allow 66 days if it's important to you, keep at it, and eventually it becomes automatic. It becomes part of your routine. So yes, you will be challenged initially, maybe the first 20 days, and then the next 20 days will be a little bit harder, a bit of a struggle, but then once you get towards the end, it becomes automatic. So just understanding the psychology behind that.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer, Sam.
You're welcome.
So we've got a question here from Zoe. What's your advice on changing to ensure that you're still challenging yourself?
Sorry?
What's your view on
What's
that?
my view on?
Changing your training style to continue challenging yourself. What's your view on that?
I think if you look at the science behind sport and strength training, once adaptation occurs, that program is no longer of use to you if you're looking for gains. So every 3 to 4 weeks, you typically change up your program. If you look at most people when they first start strength training, the first 3 months of their training life, they experience really rapid results. So like, wow, strength. If I'm improving at this rate, imagine what I'm going to look like in 3 years' time. And they follow the same program for 3 months. They get all the gains, and then the gains stop. The motivation dips. They feel like they're doing something wrong. They start to get injured because they're trying harder, doing the same things, and it's not working. So the body's adapted. So it's really important that you change the program before the adaptation occurs. But when you work closely with a client, some people take up to 5 weeks to adapt. Some people take 2 weeks to adapt. So generally, the fitter you are, the healthier you are, the faster the response. So you have to change the program to keep the body guessing. So it takes some experience to know, like when we trained together, Harry, I noticed that after a couple of months, you were adapting very fast. So we were constantly having to change the programs because your body was like adapting really quickly. So the stress wasn't there. So stress is your friend while you train. But if there's not enough stress, there's no result. So you have to keep changing the program every 3 to 4. I generally change it every 3 to 4 weeks. Some of my clients every fortnight. Some of my clients every session, depending on where they're at. But it's really important. So every 3 to 4 weeks, look to change your program. If you haven't got a personal trainer that can help you, just look at online periodization, and there'll be heaps of articles on that you can follow.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Sam, I had a question here from Paul Balsam. It's good to have you on, mate, and I hope you're well, buddy.
Hello, Paul.
So Paul's question, it's a great question, actually. What's your view on plant-based diet?
Plant-based diets, yeah. I've got a book by Dr. Greger, and I think the title is How Not to Die. There's a lot of good articles, a lot of good recipes in there. I'm a big believer in variety. I think plant-based serves its purpose, but I don't know, like long-term for strength training, whether or not that's something sustainable, or if you're talking about just general health. But I feel that over time, without some form of protein in your diet, there's things that sort of tend to show up in person's health that I've noticed. So I like to include some meats on occasions. and you can always source organic, and then you got a variety of fish and stuff. But unless you're really on top of your food and you're supplementing correctly, if you're not doing the rotation that is required, and you're not going out there and sourcing the best possible ingredients, you're going to come across some hurdles eventually. So it's about balance. Yeah.
Good answer. That's a good answer, Sam. Great answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, from Cartel here, we're the question: what's the best fish to eat?
The best fish. I like the wild salmon because the omega-3 benefits and the healthy fats in it, and the oceans there are pretty clean. So, yeah, that would be my number one.
Good answer. And of course, we've got a question here from Lily. We have to dob you in.
Mm-hmm.
Lily's question is, what chocolate do you recommend?
Hi, Lily. Chocolate, I put this on some clients and they really enjoy it, especially the ones that were chocolate eaters, is cacao, like a cacao powder that have like a hot chocolate with almond milk before bed. That has a lot of health benefits. It helps induce good quality sleep, helps feed the brain, and the antioxidant benefits are really great. But try and go for higher percentages of cacao in the chocolate, so 80% or above would be my go. And organic or whatever, they're the best bets. But yeah, 80% cacao or above, or you could do a hot chocolate at night before bed, is really good for sleep. But again, if you're overweight and you want to see some rapid changes, I'd go without it for at least a month.
Okay. Well, a question from Joy. The question is, what's the relation between healthy, physical, and mental food?
Healthy, physical, and mental food. Can you repeat the question, Harry?
Yeah, I think I've struggled with that too. I think the question here, Sam, is the relationship between healthy, physical, and mental. What's the food? I'm not sure on the question, but it's probably come across. I might just ask him again.
Okay.
I might get this one asked again, Sam. What about this one? I mean, we've got a big one here from, as you know, we ran a Young Guns program, and it was a roaring success. Obviously, you're one of our guest speakers. You were going to be, unfortunately, because of bloody Corona and whatever else. How about motivating our teenagers? What's your advice on motivating these young guns?
I feel like some form of discipline sports. I mean, it's hard now with the coronavirus and stuff, but I'm a big fan of some of the martial arts practices. Like, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is great, teaches good discipline. Gymnastics is another excellent sport that people could undertake in. Then you've got the boxing, which is, we kind of did that early on in our lives. And then if you look at the UFC, I mean, I enjoy watching it. Like, I think it's great to, like, for me, it's good entertainment, but the level of athleticism involved is next level with that. So it's conditioning and heart rate and focus and attention and stuff. It's really, really beneficial to the body. But for young kids, I feel like, it's an opportunity now to get out and about with your dad, with a family member, kick the footy, get the cricket bat out, the baseball mitts or whatever, go for a ride on the bike, get some fresh air, get the body moving. And it helps release the serotonin and dopamine and endorphins in the system. And, kids start to feel alive. I mean, sitting in front of a laptop or an iPad all day playing video games, the kids are missing out on so much, getting them moving. I feel it's up to the parents to get them started. And once they get moving, I feel like they realize what they've been missing out on. And if sports is something that they're interested in, I believe that they'll have fun with it.
Okay. Well, Sam, we talked about, you and I have been having lots of discussions about putting together people and taking them overseas with us. We talked about something there, and that's the Muay Thai training camps that we've been going to. And I did one of the hardest things I've ever done this year in terms of personal training. And Luke, I hope Luke's watching. Luke Ayling from Adelaide, an ex-soldier. And we ran the Big Buddha up in Thailand in Phuket. one of the hardest things I've ever done. And then to come back and then go into the fight camp straight after that and, get belted up and whatever, all the fun stuff. And then, rest and relax. So we're talking about doing a lot of stuff, Sam. We didn't expect this coronavirus to hit.
Yeah.
We've got so many things happening. And we're at I've got a lot more questions, but I think there's sort of similar questions, Sam. But what I wanted to say to you, my friend, is that tonight's been incredible. Thank you so much. We're mindful. I want to be respectful of people's time. You've been incredible. The questions just keep coming. I want to push people across to Iron Game Fitness. So we're going to put that on our email. So we're going to put that in our YouTube and on our email. You're going to be a regular feature on this program. So we're going to do this once a month. We're going to feature stories. We're going to talk about a certain topic. We're going to focus on that topic. The greatest thing for our community that you can do is share this post to continually spread the vitamins and the positivity. Because without you, we're not going to get this change going. We can keep talking and keep doing things, but the more you share it, the greater it's going to become. So in closing, Sam, what would you like to say to our community?
Well, it's been an honor and a privilege to be on this program with you, Harry. I was very nervous and excited at the same time to be sharing this information. And we've been talking about this. My team is ready. We've got a great team of people that are there with me to help me deliver the best possible service we can to the community. We were on a roll prior to the COVID restrictions. I've got a great team. Reese Adams, Alex Quaife, Sophia DeRoy. We're primed and ready. We've got our systems in place. We're ready to help people and serve. So reach out. We'll do all that we can to help you and assist you in every way we possibly can. And we're very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, Sam. Thank you so much for being on. As I said, it's going to be a regular thing. So we'll send out our calendar of events. We're going to do all that and let people know when it's going to be on so that you can gather your friends, your family, you can share it and listen to the wisdom from this man that's got over 25 years of experience. And, we were blessed to spend time with Charles Poliquin. God bless him. He did pass. Absolutely. And, there's so much more that Life Worldwide is doing. We've got our Raw and Reels, our Lunch and Learns, our Ladies Lunch, our Millionaire Millennials. We've got our Young Guns program. We've got mentoring. We've got so much. We're going to do our walks and talks, which will bring a whole group of people and we'll walk it for bloody, you won't realise you've done 20-kilometre walk. We'll drive you mad. It's a big community. And again, all I can say is please share this. Please let people know about it. It's our job to put people back together again, spread the positivity. Enough of this corona and he said and the rubbish. Let's be positive. Let's be amazing human beings. The run's done. I know that story, Sam. I got to share this with you. My wife is an absolute thing for this. I walked to go and see my mother yesterday from where I live in a Mooney Ponds to go and see Mum. And Mum's in a nursing home. She's I reckon 40 minutes longer to walk because the amount of people that stop to say hello and have a chat and people said, I've seen you on Instagram. Oh, you're friends with blah, blah, blah. It's incredible. So let's keep pushing this. Let's make this movement incredible. God bless you, Sam.
God bless you, Harry. Thank you.
For tuning
Thank
in.
you, everyone.
Have an incredible, absolutely, God bless. Have an incredible evening. And you know what? We look forward to sharing with you again. So off we go. Go and enjoy your families. Thank you.